All right, good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Welcome to the September 8th, 2025 City of Burlingame Planning Commission meeting. For all in attendance today, please note that this Planning Commission meeting is being held in person using the Zoom webinar format. Please note that we are not accepting remote public comment during commission meetings. Please also note that the video cameras in the council chambers are not working this.
They're actually working.
They are working this evening. That's an old note. No worries. Agenda item number 2, roll call. The record should note that 4 members of the commission are present this evening. Commissioners Schmid and Say are absent. Agenda item number 3, request for AB 2249 remote participation. There are no commissioners participating remotely under AB 2249. Agenda item number 4, review of agenda. Staff, are there any other changes to the agenda?
Yes, staff would like to note that item 8A, 8B, 8C, 1385 Hillside Circle, lots 1, 2, and 3 will not be reviewed this evening due to a lack of quorum. So that item or those projects have been continued to a date certain, which is September 22nd. So if those in the public that are either here in council chambers or attending virtually, that item will be heard on Monday, September 22nd.
Thank you. Are there any other recusals tonight? Agenda item number 5, public comments, non-agenda. Members of the public may speak about any item not on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to suggest an item for a future Planning Commission meeting may do so during the public comment period. The Ralph Brown Act, the state local agency open meeting law, prohibits the Planning Commission from acting on any matter that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on any item that is not on our agenda?
Staff also did want to point out that we received a public comment email after the staff report was prepared before 4 p.m. today. That public comment email on a non-agenda item was emailed to you and also provided to you at your desks. We failed to include who that was from, and that was from Patricia Urbina.
Thank you. We've received that. Seeing no other public comments, agenda item number 6, consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine. They are acted on simultaneously unless separate discussion and/or action is requested by the applicant, a member of the public, or a commissioner prior to the time the commission votes on the motion to adopt. This evening, we have 3 items on the consent calendar. Item 6A, approval of August 25, 2025 Planning Commission minutes. Item 6B, 1341 Drake Avenue. Item 6C, 1115 Paloma Avenue. Would any member of the public or Planning Commission like to pull these items for discussion? Seeing none. Commissioners, any comments? Remote.
Well, I appreciate all of them, all the projects being really open to our comments. And I think the projects are, all of them, far better than they were when you arrived, all of you, I think. Nothing on us, but that's the point of the process. So thank you very much. So I will make a motion then to approve items on the consent calendar A, B, and C with, do I have to say with something? Do I have to need to say something with?
Yes. Well, for items 6B and 6C.
Oh, just B and C, not the minutes?
Well, I was just going to say for 6B and 6C, those are based on the findings as outlined in the resolutions for those projects.
So let's do, you want me to do A with just A?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And okay, let's do A first.
We can take, you can make the motion on all 3. Okay. We'll just note it in the minutes that it was based on the things in the resolution for items 6B and 6C, but you can have one motion, 1 second, and we'll vote for all consent calendar items.
All righty, then I'm going to make a motion for items 6A, B, and C to be approved.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Pfaff, a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. Any comments on the motion? May we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4-0-0-0.
Or 4002.
0-0. We have 2 absent tonight. Thank you. Do I need to read the,
Yes, we
Yes.
should.
An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Agenda item number 7, action items. Item 7A, 1812 Castaneda Drive. If you are the applicant and are attending via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. This is an application for major design review, hillside area construction permit for first and second story addition to an existing single unit dwelling in the R1 zone. The applicant is proposing a first floor addition at the front of the house and a new second story with a total floor area of 3,140 square feet, or 3,207 square feet is the maximum allowed. This subject property is located in the Hillside Overlay District where distant views are protected. Staff would note that a special permit, the special permit requirement for second story decks with the additional setback does not apply to properties in the Hillside area. The application was last before the Planning Commission August 28, 2023, and the commission had several suggestions, referred the project to a design review consultant, and the applicant submitted revised plans date stamped July 9th, 2025 to address the comments. And the design review consultant has provided a recommendation for you that is attached to your staff report. The applicant made several revisions and worked with staff and the design review consultant, resulting in an approved project. And the design reviewer supports approval of the project as proposed, as does staff, with some recommended findings for you and 13 recommended conditions of approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, I just have one. It's kind of tricky when the projects are an existing property that has a renovation or a second story. I see indication of one or more trees, but I didn't see a planting plan, and I wondered if that included irrigation for those. Sometimes that gets left off.
We can look at that. I'll look at that while the applicant, usually Parks does require irrigation as part of the plans. And if it's not, since this project is a couple years old, our requirements have become changed over time. If it's not part of this review for entitlements, then it would be part of the building permit. So for some reason, we didn't catch it during the plan check for the entitlements, we would get it at building permit.
Okay.
And that might have happened with some of the changes over the last few years for our plan reviews for parks. So,
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward and state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
My name is Marat Dainer. It's not much to add. We listened to the comments, we tried to work with designer, and we made some revisions, and hopefully this project will kind of make Burlingame better.
Do we have any
Hello, my
questions?
name's Yuri. I'm the designer responsible for this project. I can take a moment to speak to the project if that's okay.
Yes.
So the project proposed is meets all the required residential design guidelines and meets all the developmental standards for the R1 zoning. district. The second floor addition fits in well with other homes on the block. It features a hipped roof, well-proportioned plate heights that are limited at 8 feet. We tried to have a thoughtful layout this time with the addition centered over the first floor, so the design also steps back appropriately from all neighboring properties to help reduce visual impact and maintain neighbors' privacy. In fact, the second-story addition exceeds all required setbacks, and the balcony is very modest in size and thoughtfully located at the center of the property, once again, to help preserve the privacy for the surrounding neighbors. We also work closely with the design review consultants to make sure the neighborhood's context was carefully considered throughout the process. For example, the original home was built in the ranch style, which was a rather modest contemporary design. The update style continues in the same style with clean lines. We tried to keep simple trim and with a little bit of a more modern feel. The wood siding adds scale and texture to the horizontal look of the home, which matching Douglas fir front door and garage doors with horizontal lights and a gridless window support to support like the contemporary direction of the design. The windows and overall layout are balanced and are consistent with the surrounding homes. In terms of materiality, we used horizontal wood siding, 8-inch, that blends in with the neighborhood, and upgraded the aluminum clad and upgraded all the windows to be aluminum clad windows, replacing the older vinyl windows that are there now. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note, speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, comments?
Yeah, I think it's a job very well done. When I think about where it started, it's great. So nice job. Nice job to all involved.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's a good looking project. I appreciate the remodel versus a tear down, working within the neighborhood. And the story polls that went up obviously didn't have any other comments, so I'd be willing to move this forward. So I'd make a motion to approve this project per the staff report, findings in the resolution in the staff report.
I'll second that if nobody. So yeah.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lowenthal, a second by Commissioner Pfaff. Any comments on the motion? May we please have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4002. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations. Item 7B, 728 New Hall Road. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Seeing none, let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report?
Yes, this is an application for a major design review and special permit for plate height for a new 2-story single-unit dwelling and detached garage in the R1 zoning district. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing dwelling and garage and build a new 2-story single-unit dwelling and detached garage with a proposed floor area of 4,013 square feet, or 4,017 square feet is the maximum allowed. A special permit's being requested for the first floor plate height of 10 feet, or 9 feet is the maximum allowed for the first floor. The dwelling would have 5 bedrooms, 3 parking spaces, 2 of which must be covered, are required for a 5-bedroom dwelling. 2 covered parking spaces are provided in the detached garage, and 1 uncovered space is provided in the driveway. While the width of one of the covered spaces, however, does not comply with the minimum code requirement of 10 feet, due to AB 2097, the city is prevented from enforcing minimum parking standards. Therefore, a variance for the second covered space is not required in this case. The project includes a new 756 square foot detached accessory dwelling unit on the first floor. Per state law, the review of ADUs is administrative only and is not under the purview of the Planning Commission, but staff has determined that the proposed ADU complies with the code regulations. This project was before the Planning Commission on July 14th, 2025, and the commission had several suggestions regarding the project and voted to place the project on action when the plans had been revised. The applicant has submitted revised plans, date stamped August 5th, 2025, to address the commission's concern, and a summary of those changes to the plans are in your staff report. The proposed project has been designed in accordance with the residential design guidelines, and staff recommends approval with 14 recommended conditions of approval as drafted in the resolution attached to your staff report. I'd be happy to answer any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Thank you so much, Behruz Nemati. Good evening. So, per previous meeting, so I received 6 concern and comments regarding the problem that the design issue that maybe make the project better. Actually, we try to make and address all of the concerns, and there's a 6 concern that we have and received for this project. The first one is the feeling that the second floor is squishing and it's pressing down the first floor. So we try to make that address and make it more feeling and more somehow to carry in the second floor with putting the 2 post, modern and contemporary posts in the front elevation. So that's the first remedy for that. And also per the committee suggestion, we raising the header of the windows exactly lines up with the other part of the windows and the main door. So the front elevation completely revised based on your suggestion, which is, I'm happy about it. And that's the first comment that I had. Also, the second comment was about the articulation and alignment of the all window all around the building. So I try to make all the windows and the height and the bottom and the top align all together, despite the fact that the ADU hasn't the same level of the main house, but I try to mimicking whatever happened in the front and the side to the windows on the ADU in the left and the right. So that's the second comment that I answered that. The third one, which was more important, was the stairwell windows that might have the light pollution or maybe concern for the neighborhood in the future. So I divided in 2 windows with the wood siding in the middle to make it divided in 2 separate, and then minimizing the glazing panel for the future. So that's the third one. Also, there was a construction issue, which was the eave of the ADU roofing system confronting with the panel and the patio door. So I just cut in the eave into 2 separate parts. So make a distance from the door to make the door operating very well. So that's the 4th one. The 6th one was the so because we had the average blocking setback of 19 feet 8 inches, so I didn't have that much of the room to push the building out. So I just take advantage of situation, push it only 3 inches. So I had that much of room to play with. So I pushed the whole building, move forward to the outside to make it a little bit more better. So that's the only thing I can do. And also the second floor setback is 20 feet. So I didn't have enough more room to work with it. And the last comment from the commission was all the windows and the character of the building, which was, I didn't spend that much time on the back and rear side of the building, and also some of the side part of the building. So I took to your suggestion and just put more different type of features like gray color stucco and the wood siding that I use in the front to the back. Even in the second floor master bedroom side, so I put some wood siding in the right side of the windows. So I just play with the different type of character to give more contemporary look of the building and then make harmony between the elevation and facade and everything like that. So that's the all comment I try to answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I do have, I'm sorry, I'm having problems with my plans on my computer.
Sure.
But I'm looking at the renderings. I'm just, I'm wondering on the back where you added the piece of siding there. Is
Yes,
that,
exactly.
does that only have the depth of the siding itself, which I don't know, is that ½ inch or something? What is,
So I'm not trying to line up the level of the stucco with the wood siding. I wanted to give some space between them, so somehow you can feel a different material has a different character. So
but how, do you know how much that will be?
I don't know right now because I need to start working on the detail, but I think it's about maybe 2 or 3 inches difference.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question. So I quite like the 2 posts that you put in the front, but what strikes me is that the windows are off center of the post. Did you consider potentially changing the front windows? Try to be maybe centered in those?
Okay, so I remember you liked the contemporary architecture at that time. So I'm not pushing myself to symmetric everything in the contemporary architecture. So as you see, everything is working very well in terms of the proportion and the location of window. I don't want it to, I thought about a few times to make one big window in between the 2 posts, but at the same time, I thought the one window outside of the post are going to be a very awkward situation. So that's why I keep the same. I make a little bit space between them to make it completely equal, but at the same time is modern, you know? So I keep it the way it is, so with a little bit different in the size. But proportion-wise, I try to keep it between the 2 posts.
Okay. And then as far as the distance between the edge of the post and the window trim,
Yes,
would that be consistent on the
yes,
left and
exactly.
the elevation looks like it's maybe a fraction bigger on the right and then right up on it on the left?
Yeah, I try to make it symmetric, yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe 5 inches between from the corner of the post to the edge of the window.
Okay. And the posts were what type of material?
It's completely ornamental, so I'm going to use this stucco.
It's going to be stucco wrapped?
Yeah.
And then the front facade is also stucco?
Stucco wrap, yeah.
I see. So that'll just be a continued.
Completely wrapped around it, and then with the angle is contemporary, so I think it's going to be nice looking for, in my opinion.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do we have any members of the public attending in person who wish to speak on this item? Please note, speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Yes?
Yeah.
Come on up.
Hi, thank you. Hi, Ruben. Dear Burlingame City Planning Commission, my husband and I are residents of 724 Newhall Road, and we are here today to talk about the privacy that we have. It's really nice. What we looked at when we bought our house was a forest in the backyard that has now become a huge house. They did build some privacy bushes, which is nice. Next door, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house is now a 5,000 square foot house and took away all of our light. Most of the windows on our house are on the side of the building of this house. And we really are worried about privacy. We stare at bushes and shrubs and trees all the way along the fence, but because they're moving the house and the driveway, we lose all of that. And we're just going to be looking at house and windows. And we appreciate the growth and development within our community. However, we have concerns about the potential impact on privacy and aesthetics on our property and the removal of the existing driveway and greenery. Currently, our natural buffer consisting of driveway, trees, and shrubs provides a sense of privacy and contributes to the neighborhood's green landscape. With the planned construction, the driveway greenery will be removed, leaving my property or our property exposed and altering the visual harmony of the area. I kindly request that the Planning Commission consider enforcing recommending the inclusion of landscaping that reinstates the natural buffer of privacy that we have, specifically planting the appropriate really tall trees that go along. We put them in our backyard, and implementing such a buffer would not only address the privacy concerns, but also align with Burlingame's commitment to sustainable, community-friendly development. Thank you. And I also want to say, when you, as a commission, consider houses and areas, I have two friends of mine that weren't allowed to build a modern house because there wasn't a house in the area. There isn't a modern house on our street, and this was approved overnight. And I've had many members come to me saying, do you know what they're building? I said, yes, it's available. You can come. And they said, wow, how the heck was this approved? And I said, well, it was actually approved pretty readily. I do think it does look nice, but it doesn't fit the existing structures. And it would be really nice when you did review other neighborhoods that you treated them all the same. Because what my friends had done to revamp and do everything different to match the existing Tudor or contemporary or whatever farmhouse, whatever it is, it didn't happen in this case. And we're getting bombarded and blasted with this, and we're losing our privacy, and we're going to be in 2 years of construction, which it should seem like we have some say, but we don't.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Any other members of the public?
Did you have any questions?
No, I don't think we're able to.
We can't.
Yeah, this isn't a back
Okay.
and forth, right? Thank you. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
Well, I'll go. I don't think we're supposed to address what she said, but I did want to discuss the issue of modern in traditional neighborhoods. It is true, 15 years ago, they were kind of frowned upon, and there has been a gradual change because it's probably not really legal to be telling people what type of house, modern or traditional, they can be doing. And so it's it has moved along, and we have really tried to keep up the design guidelines to catch things that are really out there, and like we used to have before design review. So I can't really speak to that, but a lot of modern is done now. However, I will say that I think the best modern is cushioned and mitigated from different looks of the neighboring homes, often neighboring traditional ones, with greenery. And I completely agree with that premise. And I think we're not supposed to be discussing. We're supposed to be, is this discussion?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. I think it would be terrific if this applicant, who has made an effort to listen to our comments, and I do think this has improved. Not really sure I'm following quite the uneven front there that my colleague just mentioned, but that aside, I love the angled pillars and such. I think that's a real sharp idea. I do think it would benefit from more greenery, and because it is really kind of plain on the sides and monotonous. Yeah, you change the materials, that is true, but it kind of goes straight back. And
I just want to say the picture is not accurate because
I'm
there's a,
I'm sorry, the public hearing
oh,
closed.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But these pictures should look accurate, and there's no fence, and the fence goes right against the house, and that should have.
We understand that, but there's no public comment right now. Thank you.
Okay.
no, I get it. I understand.
I
So
just want you to see what we see.
sure, understand. So I do think this could benefit, everyone could benefit by having some more greenery where possible, and for everyone. The house will look better. It will look buffered from every other house on the block, and help the neighbors. And there's nothing like a good hedge or whatever is greenery. And if you don't have room, there's always vines and things you can do, clever things. And green screens, there are things you can do. So I completely am sympathetic to this.
Are we allowed to have a condition of approval to be some sort of privacy screening? Or does that,
Sure, yes, you can. I would try to be as specific as possible in terms of the, the length of the landscape screening, perhaps even the type or the gallon size that you would want to see there along that edge.
yeah, we were just saying we're probably going to open the public hearing again, but I'm just wondering, how specific do you get to like the actual type of plant? Or is it just like a green screen up to a certain height, or work with the neighbor on a compatible, mutually agreeable plant that works, or?
Sure, yes. I mean, you could identify the length of the screening, right? If you want it along the entire edge of the house there. You could also include in the condition that the applicant shall work with the Parks Division to identify an appropriate evergreen hedge, landscape screening that would grow to a minimum of a certain height, right? So then the Parks Division can come up with several types of landscape hedges that they can recommend along that.
That's a great.
And then we would ensure that screening or that landscaping is shown on the plans that are submitted for a building permit.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Parks Division can also indicate, the size at planting and the spacing in those plants, right? So you don't want to make it too sparse, but also you don't want to make it too close to one another where it's not going to be able to grow well.
So could I reopen the public hearing and invite the applicant back? So you've listened to this conversation.
Yeah.
Would you be open to us including that as a condition?
Sure. I'm asking my landscape architect, per your comments, to put any evergreen or any type of the thing that you're consider to put it there to make the neighbor happy. Of course.
So the condition would be along the lines of what we just talked about, where you'd work with the Parks Department to choose proper screening for the neighbor to the right.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Close the public hearing. Any other comments, commissioners? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I quite like the project now. I think the massing in the front has been drastically changed with the increased header height that helps substantially, and then and I really like the columns, as my fellow commissioner said. If it was my house, I would definitely work on centering the windows a little bit better. It's not going to be a deal breaker for me. I'm not sure how my fellow commissioners. It's just the small detail of how the window interacts with the column that needs to be consistent. As far as the windows being big, little, and then big, little on the other side, that's fine. I can see how that works with the design, but at least that the recesses between the windows and the columns should be consistent. But beyond that, I'm in favor of moving the project forward. I do think it looks nice, and I think it would be a good addition to the street.
Right. Yeah. I liked it before. I do think it does look better now. I think they're good improvements. I think the pillars in the front are great. I think it's just what it was needed. I will say in terms of the screening, I'm not super familiar with the logistics of how this goes in terms of how that interacts with like the maximum allowable fence height or whatever, but I wouldn't want to restrict what the condition to like purely a green screen if, for instance, like a fence is high enough to be put up to screen the first story. So I'm not exactly sure how to talk about that.
Well, there's specific regulations for fence heights,
Yeah.
Right.
whereas
So
green, there is not.
6
It's
feet plus a foot
for the lattice,
Just 6 feet? Okay.
6 feet.
Then probably have to be.
Yeah.
And that's not all the way to the front. That's also, I forget what the offset is from the street.
So this,
It has to be down.
I thought the fence height was higher.
sorry, Commissioner Schwartz, it would be 6 feet solid for the fence with 1 foot of lattice, so a maximum height of 7 feet on the side. basically from the face of the house back to the rear yard.
I just wanted to ask, does that also go for these green screens that are they're made of green? I think it's metal.
Mm.
Kathy Baylock had them for a long time. And they're quite tall. They have to be, of course, fastened with, something poles or such. But they are really good for vines when there's there's not enough, I don't know if there's enough room that's going to be to Parks and, is her name Ellen?
Mhm.
Yeah. To decide, but I just was wondering if there were exceptions for things like a green screen.
It would depend where it's placed.
Yeah.
So not that I don't want to answer your question directly, but the fence would be on the property line. And if this was placed, say, abutting the building, maybe attached to the building, like we see at 1095 Rollins, they have kind of a living wall, if you will,
Right.
but it's actually part of the outside exterior material of the building.
Got it.
So it depends where it's placed, but the fence could be 7 feet, and then there could be shrubbery, trees, or things within that setback that could exceed 7 feet that could provide additional relief for privacy.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does somebody want to make a crack at a resolution?
You go.
Sure, I'll make a motion. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve this project as per the staff report and the resolution for the special permits. Yeah, and a condition of approval would be to work with the Parks and Rec to figure out a green screen that is mutually agreeable with the neighbor and or a fence. But one or both to create that privacy that was requested.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lowenthal. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
And a second by Commissioner Pfaff. Any discussion on the motion? Is it clear enough, staff?
Yes, and we'll fine tune that condition of approval to speak to consulting with the Parks Division in terms of the size of the planting, the type, the spacing in between, that sort of thing. So we'll want to make sure that that gets detailed and buttoned up in the condition.
Sorry, the public comment is closed. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4-0-0-2. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations. Item 7C, 229 Bancroft Road. If you are the applicant and are attending the meeting via Zoom, please raise your hand so that we may be prepared for you to speak at the appropriate time. If possible, we ask that you also turn on your video at that time. Were any commissioners not able to visit the project site, or do any commissioners wish to note any ex parte communications regarding this project? Let the record note that all commissioners present have visited the project site. Can we hear the staff report, please?
Yes, this is an application for major design review and special permits for plate height, second floor balcony, and attached garage for a new 2-story single unit dwelling with an attached garage in the R1 zoning district. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing dwelling and garage and build a new 2-story single unit dwelling with an attached 1-car garage with a floor area of 2,921 square feet, where 2,940 square feet is the maximum allowed. A special permit is requested for a 9-foot 5-inch plate height at the front porch and a 10-foot 3-inch plate height at the attached garage, where 9 feet is the maximum allowed on the first floor. Special permits are also requested for a 24 square foot second-story balcony at the rear of the house and for a 1-car attached garage. The new dwelling would have 4 bedrooms and 2 parking spaces, one of which must be covered or required for a 4-bedroom dwelling, One covered space is provided in the new attached garage and one uncovered space is provided in the driveway. The Planning Commission saw this project as a study item on July 14th, 2025. The commission had several suggestions regarding the project and voted to place this on action when the applicant submitted revised plans. Revised plans were provided, date stamped August 26, 2025. And the project staff feels complies with our residential design guidelines and therefore recommends approval and has drafted findings and 14 recommended conditions of approval in the resolution. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'm going to open the public hearing. Would the applicant please come forward, state your name, and anything else you would like to add about your project?
Good evening, everyone. I'm the applicant Xiaowen. We did the revision to revise the plan. I don't have any other comment.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
Well, all right. I'm looking at the back, the rear elevation, and you have, I'm thinking of comments that I'm almost positive my colleague who is not here brought up and I agreed with. Regarding the pillars that are wood in the back. And I just wanted to know, do those have any finish, like transition finish pieces to the stoop there, or are they just plain up and down?
The pillar in the rear yard, we don't have any transition.
That was my question.
I had a question. Why do you have so many crawl space vents?
Interesting.
Or is that just an error?
Right. Might have-
There's a lot of crawl space vents, far more than what's needed.
The crossface vent, yes.
Is that an error in rendering, or is there a reason why there's so many?
We need this. The vent amount need 150. We did a calculation.
I think the calculation's incorrect. The code's pretty specific. If you do a vapor barrier, you'll probably only need 1 or 2 crawl space vents for the whole house. And if you don't do a vapor barrier, you probably need maybe a total of 6, based on my calculation. But you have what looks to be about 25.
Yes, we can reduce the size.
Well, I would just redo your calculation to be code compliant. I don't want you to be under code compliant, but I don't think you need to be over code compliant here.
Okay.
Okay. The only other question I had was regarding to the window grids. The grids, in my opinion, are a little bit more traditional, and the house is definitely veering a little bit towards, transitional modern. Did you think about any other window grid pattern that maybe is a little bit more modern looking, or is this just what the client wanted, or is this just kind of a default?
The client, we have a meeting with client. We need it.
This is what the client wanted?
Yes.
I see. Okay. That's fine.
Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant?
No.
Thank you. The council chambers are empty, so there are no members of the public attending in person at this point. So I'm going to close the public hearing. Commissioners, comments?
I like the design better this time. It doesn't look as wedding cakey as one of the comments. I do like the change of materials. That definitely helps as opposed to just a stucco box. I'm not 100% pleased with it, but there's some errors in the rendering. The vents are completely wrong, so that will be fixed. I understand that. That's not the way they're going to build it, but I don't know if that matters as far as approval. I mean, we can obviously put that in the condition and
Noted.
yeah.
Yeah, and through the building review process, I'm sure they'll note that. But the applicant, good point. He should start looking at that now and reduce the number of vents because you definitely don't want to put in more than what's required because that's an extra cost too. So
Sure.
definitely the applicant, I think, knows to take a look at that. And I would say, the renderings too, they're there to help us and the commissioner and the public kind of visualize the project more, but we are looking at the building elevations in terms of approval. So just keep that in mind too. Sometimes there could be some slight errors in the renderings. So just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, point taken, although those vents are also in the elevations as well.
Yes, definitely.
Otherwise, I think it's enough to push me over the top. I think I could move forward.
So I just wanted to go back to the back, those pillars. So we actually have in this same neighborhood in this neighborhood in which I live, there are a few examples of this mix of I guess it's sort of quasi-traditional mixed with, I don't know, quasi-modern. And the materials, sometimes it's not a happy blend. And I think the trick probably is to have nice transitions. So I would find it, I don't know if it's possible, but I would find it helpful to put some kind of finish piece on those pillars. They're pillars or posts on the back. I don't know, it doesn't have to be frou-frou type. It just can be just a simple, I don't know, a couple inches around, whoops, excuse me, that would just help with those transitions. You might need to push those in a little bit to get space to do that. But I think it would make a difference, or I'd just paint them white. I don't know. I just think it looks unfinished, and it's the only piece in the back, which is wood. So those would be my comments. And I actually agree with my colleague about the windows being maybe too many lights in there for the style of home, but also it doesn't quite go with the door style, but it's not enough to object to. But so those are my comments.
Yeah, I am more or less on the same page on the grids, but I do think that they help the building blend in with a lot of the buildings around it, which do have grids of that size and pattern. So I think it's, all things considered, probably fine. I think I was thinking that maybe like very, very simple decorative sills could help some of the windows, especially more so on the sides and rear, because there's not really any detail to the windows at the moment. That might enhance the windows having those grids. If they didn't have the grids, I probably wouldn't be calling out a decorative sill of any kind.
Good idea.
And on the front as well, I'm not sure if a decorative sill would work well or look well, because those windows take up a very large amount of those wall spaces. So that's more so just a detail to investigate. I wouldn't make it part of a condition of approval, because it would make a biggest difference on places you can't see from the street. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
Through the chair, Commissioner Pfaff, when you're referring to the columns at the rear, are you looking for like just some sort of base element at the bottom of the column?
Not frou-frou, just simple. I don't.
Yeah.
Or I just paint them white. I mean, they don't show, that is true, but it looks very unfinished. When I've seen these, and unfortunately there are several examples close to where I live, and I just don't think it was really thought through. So it just looks like, oh, they're coming back to finish the pillar off, but they never come back. So it's just, there's a post, but it doesn't look finished. So I think if the commitment is there on the part of the client to want to have the, wood, natural, warm look, I just think it needs to be finished, just like we would ask that of anything else we do here, that they're finished. So I think wood, or, I don't build, but if I were doing this, I would go look for some molding and simple molding and just, at least at the bottom.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's
And that can be added as a condition of approval for planning
if
staff.
my colleagues agree with me, I
Yeah.
agree.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the good news is that it's not seen from the street, but I agree.
Yeah.
It looks
Unfinished,
unfinished and kind of lonely.
lonely.
So I agree. I guess I'm just questioning whether that should be a condition of approval since it's a back porch and it's not.
Or even like
It's-
maybe Chamford, Chamford, is that, where you take, because he doesn't have a lot of room, where you kind of take you make these, well, we had it done in one place on our house, but where you take part of the corners off, it's just like
Mhm.
I'm sure you know way more than I do.
It's like a taper, yeah.
A taper. But anyway,
But do you want that as part of a conditional approval, a condition of approval?
well, I think it'd be nice, but I don't want to, I don't want to, it's not that important. I just think for them, I think it makes a better product, but,
I probably prefer your first suggestion, though, just a base trim
base.
on the rear columns.
I'm fine putting it as a condition. I mean,
That's okay.
I think it does improve the design and
Yeah.
it's not that expensive.
And then the side decorative sills will he can listen to that if he wants, but it won't be
Yeah,
a condition.
I'm not comfortable mandating them, especially on the front, so.
Okay.
Right, someone else's turn.
Can I have
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the item as per the conditions of the staff report, with the condition of approval to add a very simple trim to the bottom of the posts on the rear porch.
And it's the conditions of the resolution.
Condition
The
of the
findings in the resolution,
Findings.
based on the findings in the,
Okay,
We have to
findings
put
of the
that
resolution.
I know. Never get it right.
Based on the findings of the resolution. Thank you.
Is that everything? I think so, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Shores and a second by Commissioner Lowenthal. Any discussion on the motion? May we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Lowenthal,
Aye.
Commissioner Pfaff,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shores,
Aye.
Chair Haran.
Aye, the motion passes 4-0-0-2. An action by the Planning Commission is appealable to the City Council within 10 days of the Planning Commission's action. If the Planning Commission's action has not been appealed or called up for review by the City Council by 5 p.m. on the 10th day, the action becomes final. In order to be effective, appeals must be in writing and must be accompanied by an appeal fee of $924, which includes noticing costs. Congratulations. Item number 8, study session. As noted earlier, item 8A, 8B, 8C, 1385 Hillside Circle will be continued to the 22nd of September, 2025. Agenda item number 9, staff and commission reports. Are there any commissioner reports? I have a question for staff. I actually attended a party a week ago on La Mesa. It was a renovation of an existing home, and the house is completely demolished. So I was just wondering what happens when we approve a renovation, including the fact that there's nothing there. It's a completely empty lot at this point.
You can report to this, to that separately, to us separately, and we can look into the approval and
And just confirming, they'd have to come back at this point.
I think so. I mean, we'd have to first investigate what
Okay.
the final approval was, but
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to just provide that information to staff, we can look into it.
Great, thank you. Any other commissioners' reports? Staff, do you have anything to share?
Nothing from staff to share this evening.
Thank you. The meeting is adjourned at 7:54 p.m.
So now I'm curious. What's the intent?
How's the coin?